Hello everyone, James here, and thank you for joining me on another outdoor arena review. Now today's review is going to be on the Ontario Knife Company SK5 Blackbird knife. This bad boy right here. Now this knife has been out for a few years already, and it was all the rage a few years back actually, and there's a ton of reviews on YouTube on this blade. So my review is going to be fairly short, but I definitely do have some things I want to address about it, and we're going to do the basic skills test, the basic woodworking, as well as cook up some good food. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the specs out of the way. Now I want to just mention that this is the first time that I ever use an Ontario knife ever. So that's a first for me. It's also a first for me using a knife made out of 154 cm stainless steel. Now, of course, this knife is a fixed blade. The overall length is 10 inches with the spear point design, a flat grind, and a 90-degree spine. Now, this is a slightly older model, and this one has canvas micarta handles. The current ones actually have black G10 handles. It is made in the United States, and the price goes about $100 on average. As for the sheath is made out of nylon with MOLLE straps, so it can be attached to different gears, different ways. And it has a strap up here for retention. It's actually a very decent sheath. It's actually really nice. Like so. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the testing. Now, I do want to mention that when I did receive this knife, it came very dull. So I went ahead and tightened that up, sharpened it up, and with no issue, it is now razor sharp. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, first of all, I want to just let you guys know we are at a park. We are not out in the wilderness, so there's going to be a lot of ambient noise in the background from trains to vehicles, so sorry about that, but the show must go on. So anyways, philosophy of use for this blade. This knife was designed to be an all-around outdoors knife, so it could be your survival knife, it could do some bushcraft tasks, camping tasks, things along those lines. Now the design is obviously very reminiscent of a Kephart knife, so very traditional up here, whereas the handle is a little bit more updated. It has, with the micarta handles, it's slightly more, it reminds me of an Essie knife. So very modernized Kephart. Okay, so because of that, because it is an outdoors knife, it should be able to, once again, handle the basic stuff, batoning, feather sticking, getting a fire started. So let's get started with that. Now, of course, this being a flat grind knife, this is not going to work as well as, say, a Scandi grind or a saber grind when it comes to splitting wood, but it should be able to be functional. And it does pretty decent. Now, of course, this is a soft wood. I'm not certain what this is, but this is very easy to go through. I'm sure it might have some trouble with some of the harder stuff, but for now, this is working just fine. Easy work. Really nice stuff. Now, it is taking me a little bit of some time to get accustomed to using this blade because I have not used a flat grind knife for quite some time. My main knife is a saber grind, my GNS, and when I'm not using my GNS, I tend to use a Mora, which is Scandi. So, of course, different grinds are just slightly different techniques, different approach to using them. So because of that, I'm just not as proficient as using this blade as I would like, just because I'm a little bit rusty. But so far so good. Look at that. That's gonna catch right away. So it was able to feather and baton easily. I will admit the handle is a little square, so it does get, just a little tiring on your hand. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Okay, so we have the feathers. We have ourselves a little grill. Once again, we're at the park, so I don't have the luxury of making this big fire outside, a campfire. So let's test out the 90-degree spine. Is it? It is on. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna let the wood burn. Meanwhile, it gets all the charcoal around it nice and hot. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and chop up some veggies because we're gonna make some burgers out here. Now, of course, this is a flat grind knife. This is where it's gonna excel at slicing. So food processing should be no issue. And for the weeks that I've had this blade, I have been using it a lot in the kitchen. And of course, it is excellent. That's more than enough for our burgers. But pepper jack cheese as well. Okay, now these are our bread. Now this bread already has jalapenos and cheese on top. Okay, let's slice this through. I think we're ready. Not pretty, but it'll do. Steak burgers. Well, everyone, that's about the conclusion of this review. Now, of course, testing this out, it is a fixed blade, so for me, that's always going to be a requirement to get a one-stick fire going. Can it baton? Can it feather stick? And of course, no doubt about it, that was able to, be handled very easily, as well as the 90-degree spine. Just strike a ferro rod extremely easily. Got that fire going, no problem. I will admit, the handles are uncomfortable after a while. They are very square. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but they're very square handles. Because of that, your fingers, after a while, you're going to start to feel it, after feather sticking for a prolonged period of time. Now, as for the blade itself, that flat grind is just extremely, extremely good for food processing. Think of all the majority of the knives that you're going to see in your kitchen are flat grinds, excellent slicers. This one is no different. So it excelled with its 2 tests. However, this is where I'm going to just talk about just a little bit of an issue I have with it. Is I personally believe that this knife is slightly outdated. It has been out for a few years now. Since then, the competition has come, and they're performing just as well, if not slightly better, for an easier price, for just a little bit more affordable. Think of the Schrade 42, the Mora Garberg, the Gerber Strong Arm. All these knives are a little bit more affordable, and they can hang on just as well as this one can. So that's my only issue. The price is just a little bit too steep. Once you're already getting to $100, up there, you're already leaning towards, custom knives, an LT Wright, a Bark River, and I think those would be a little bit more comfortable, in my opinion. So, once again, I do recommend it. I did pass its tests. The price, it's hard for me to just say that it really is worth $100. Okay, so now this knife is going to travel to another member of the outdoor arena. As for me, I'll see you guys next week with another video. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.